Hello, and welcome back to the Spoiler Casts. I almost said Madness in the Method again, but you should check that one out if you haven't. It's my other podcast where we only talk about Nicolas Cage. Very interesting. Check it out. But no, this is the Spoiler Cast. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusted co-host, Rebecca.
Hello, and this is the show where we talk about movies, and we don't care about spoiling them. Because,
they know that by now, you know.
You know, it's the Spoiler Cast. I just wanted to say it.
Sure. And today we're doing a Patreon request.
Yes.
If you are a member of the Patreon page, on the $3 level or anything above, you get to request movies that we talk about. We've had a few so far. This is the latest one. Comes from Donnie. One of our patrons. One of our newer patrons. Yeah. It's also a movie he and I, because he's a friend of mine since before, he and I have talked about for well over 10 years. That, like, we should watch it. Or at least I should watch it, because he's seen it. And it's just never happened. But then, you know, this came up, and it's like, perfect opportunity to watch it then.
You know what? So, since it's requested on Patreon, we actually have to do it. We can't ignore it. We do have to do it eventually. Yes.
So we decided to do it now instead of watching the Super Mario movie.
Yeah.
Seem fair, I suppose? Yes. Did I say the title already?
No, we did not.
Right, because today we are going to talk about Hausu.
The 1977... It's Japanese, right?
Japanese horror
comedy?
I don't know. Yeah. Hausu, of course, being just a Japanese way of saying house.
Yes.
Because it's a movie about a haunted house.
Ooh.
So you just call it House.
I don't really know where to start. No, I have no clue.
The overarching plot is fairly simple.
Yes.
I mean, the idea of the movie was to kind of trying to create a Japanese version of, you know, the emerging popular horror movies from the West, like Jaws and The Exorcist. Like, make a traditional horror movie, but, you know, Japanify it, I suppose.
Yeah. It's also, as far as I know, a classic European witch. As far as I understood it.
There's not a lot of like Japanese folklore stuff involved, which is usually in their horror movies. This is more of a classic Western folklore stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a story about 5 girls, high school girls. Yeah, fantasy, kung fu, prof, gorgeous, Mac,
Melody, and Sweet.
Melody, Sweet. Yeah, 7.
Yeah, 7.
Also,
wonderful
named
names.
after their traits.
Yes.
Only one that doesn't really make sense is Mac, but it's supposed to...
No, it's the short word for stomach.
Yeah,
sort
I know.
of, but...
And now it could be, I guess, for a Big Mac.
Yeah,
because she eats a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, main girl being gorgeous, even though she kind of disappears halfway into the movie.
Technically, main girl could be fantasy. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it starts out with gorgeous, you know?
Yeah, well, they're both...
Either way.
Yes.
7 high school girls are going to spend the summer break, or at least 1 week of the summer break, at Gorgeous's aunt's house in the countryside.
Yes.
Turns out, though, that the house is haunted.
Ooh.
And one by one, the girls disappear. Now, that sounds like, a classic haunted house story.
Yeah, it's very simple.
But this movie is nothing but simple or classic or normal in any way.
No.
First of all,
the way strange.
Yeah. First of all, so the idea for the movie was already there from the beginning. Like, we want to make a traditional, like, haunted house horror movie, basically.
Yes.
But then they chose a director who hadn't made movies before. He had made commercials, which you can definitely tell.
Ah, yes,
that's
that
why
makes
every
sense.
scene feels like it's its own little thing with a bunch of stuff happening all the time.
Yes.
And also he chose to take some, because I don't know what the age group this movie was supposed to be for. It's a horror movie, so you're thinking, maybe it's more for adults, but then it's all about teenage girls, and it's very silly.
Teens,
so
maybe
teenage movie. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, he chose to ask his 10-year-old daughter at the time, like, what do you think is scary? And she just belted out a bunch of ideas, and he put them in the movie. So I think she has an unofficial writing credit, or an official writing credit. I'm not sure. Because I don't remember her name. The writers of the movie are Chiho Katsura and Chigumi Obayashi. Oh yeah, Chigumi Obayashi. No, Chigumi Obayashi is the daughter of Nobuhiko Obayashi, who directed it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the 10-year-old or 12-year-old or whatever it was that wrote this horror movie, basically. Also plays the shoe store girl in the movie.
There's a shoe store girl?
I don't know. There's so many things. Yes, in the beginning, the shoe repair where Professor Togo lives.
Oh, the little girl when he gets his butt stuck in a bucket?
Yes, exactly.
The first really, like, slapstick, humorous fucking montage, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yes. That's also the thing. There's a lot of it feels like an anime at times, because it's so, like, that kind of heightened reality of an anime. With some of the scenes, but with most of the scenes.
Yes, but they get silly when they come to that Professor Mr. Togo, or whatever his name was.
I think it's Togo.
Yeah, Togo.
Yeah.
Any male character, really, except for Gorgeous Father.
Yeah.
Because all the male characters are weird.
Yeah, the melon farmer guy.
Yeah, and the ramen
Professor
dude.
Togo. Yeah.
They're definitely anime.
Yes. And I mean, I mean, we can't really go into the story much because there isn't any story. I mean, in the last 15 minutes, they kind of explain what's going on, and then you're like, oh. Yeah,
because I think it's about the last 35 minutes when things actually start to happen and they start to realize that things are happening.
Yeah, about halfway through the movie.
Yeah, it's that's when they're like catching on to. It's like, oh shit,
it starts ramping up.
Disappearing.
Yeah. A couple of girls disappeared before, but they're like, they'll show up. But about 40 minutes in, or like 45, which is the halfway mark, they're like, no, something's going on, and then it just starts ramping up, and it goes fucking crazy. Bananas. And speaking of bananas, yeah, can you explain why out of nowhere Sensei, or Mr. Togo, turns into a pile of bananas?
No, I don't know.
He starts saying banana, 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 and slapping his head when he gets scared by the melon farmer who disappears.
Well, the melon farmer gets scared because he says, no, I like bananas.
Oh, right.
So that's why the melon farmer disappears, but then Mr. Togo just goes crazy and turns into a pile of bananas in his car. I've no idea. That's what I'm saying. The male characters are all fucking anime. That's just, no, that's not real. That's beyond the horror film, like, magic stuff. Yeah, that's
just like you mentioned the ramen guys or the ramen chefs who just appears out of nowhere as a face in the house, and then we switch over to a ramen shop for like a minute.
Barely.
And people eating
where
ramen.
Mr. Togo is eating ramen.
Yeah. I think, like, band members from some popular band at the time. I think that
Possibly.
No! They're the guys who are hitting on the girls at the bus station in the beginning.
Oh, were they the same people?
Cameo. No, I don't know if this is the same people, but it was supposed to be like a cameo by a famous pop band at the time. So I think that's them, yeah. But sure. We switch over to Togo eating ramen for a while.
Yeah.
Because he didn't make it to the bus because, his ass got stuck in the bucket.
That's the weirdest fucking sentence in the world.
Yes. So he takes his car, his cool dune buggy car, because everyone loves Mr. Togo because he's the cool teacher,
Yeah, and Fantasy has a crush on him, obviously.
Yeah. So he drives all the way over there, but after he says, "Oh, I'll take the car," then he's not in the movie for like an hour.
Well, no, because he has to go to the hospital to get the bucket removed.
Yeah, and then he's on his way, and he gets stuck
in traffic.
yeah, I guess he eats ramen,
Somewhere
then turns
along the
into a
way,
pile of bananas.
yeah, when he gets close
So
to the house, he turns into bananas.
What's the point of his character? I mean, I know towards the end they're like thinking like, oh, he'll come and save us because the plot is. Do we even care about spoiling this? I mean, it's a 50-year-old movie at this point.
No, we can spoil all of it, for Christ's sake. I would say like this. You should watch it. You have to focus, obviously, because it's in Japanese. I tried watching it while doing other things at first. And I'm like, no.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Unless
you speak Japanese.
Yeah.
You need to focus.
You have to actually read this. You have to read the subtitles.
Yeah, like I recognized like 3 words and that's it.
Yeah.
But you should watch it. It's interesting. It's weird, but it's interesting. And if not, I guess it's culture. It's history.
It's visually interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on.
The beginning is very visually interesting in a pretty way, actually.
Yes, and towards the end it just gets silly. I honestly prefer the first half of this movie.
Yeah, I prefer like the first 20 minutes, and then after that,
yeah, the insanity of the second half is just, it goes too far. Yes. I would guess that this is a lot more fun to watch with a group of friends. It's a hangout movie, even though you have to actually watch the movie.
Well, it's probably a hangout movie for people who speak Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. But watching it by yourself, especially for the first time, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna
try and focus and analyze a little bit.
No. Because there's just so much stuff going on, and it's not like, well, it's all this symbolism. No, it's just weird noise.
Yes,
and like for the sake of being weird. Yeah,
literally,
that's the whole point. Lights. Like that's the what was his name? The director Obayashi. Nobuhiko.
I don't know how you say it.
Nobuhiko. Yeah. He's like from what I understand, kind of a weird guy. So it's his style,
Sure. But you wouldn't think that when you see the first like 3 scenes, I'd say, the photography thing in the school with the girls with Fantasy and Gorgeous is very simple, very scaled back, very normal.
Yeah, but it's still
it's still stylized.
Very stylized. Like it's a frame within a frame.
Sure.
They use still frames all over the place. It's weird color correcting or color coding.
Weird. It's just different.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we have them walking from school, I suppose, and down the stairs thing. Love that. It looked pretty somehow.
Yeah.
And then her coming home, talking to her father.
Yeah. And him introducing her new mom.
Yeah. What was her name? I don't remember.
She's also like, she has no point other than, I guess, being in the end of the movie.
Yeah. Basically.
Well, funny about her though, because the father is a composer, I suppose.
It was movie music.
Yeah, and he is. I don't know if they're implying that he's worked on a Sergio Leone movie or if he just had a conversation with Sergio Leone.
No, they compared him to Sergio Leone.
No. Sergio Leone says that he likes the father's music even better than Morricone's music.
Yes.
Yeah, Ennio Morricone is the composer of the Dollar Trilogy.
Yes.
A bunch of movies.
Yeah, so he worked with
Sergio Leone.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is just like, that's a weird flex, but okay. Just throw into your movie like, yeah, this guy is a better composer than Ennio Morricone. Okay. Anyway, and then he introduces this woman who's like, oh, we're in love, and she'll be your new mother. And she's introduced as this, like, almost angelic being, and even though there's no wind, her scarf is always flowing. Do you think that?
Yes.
Always flowing, like, which, another thing, like, it's just like this stylistic choice, because, it's almost like, how they use wind to accentuate movement in clothing and stuff in commercials,
or music videos, like short things.
Yeah. Exactly. All these little things.
Her character name was Emma Ryoto?
Oh, right. Yeah.
How do you say it?
I don't know exactly how to. I don't have the cast list in front of me.
Haruko Anibuchi is the actor's name. You've studied Japanese. You should be able to pronounce it better than I can.
For 1 year. Yeah, I can pronounce it. Where is she?
Pretty far down.
Excuse me. Well, I don't see her.
Grandmother, auntie's fiance, teacher, and then Ryoko Emma. Or Emma Ryoko. Yeah.
Well, once again, I don't think we have the same list on IMDb.
Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, never mind then. Either way.
Either way.
Yes, and that last scene where Gorgeous runs away and throws the scarf into the wind, where he still frames half of it, but the other half of the screen still moves.
Yeah. It's like accentuate details.
Yes.
Which kind of makes me think of like, it more made me think of directors like what's his name? Guy Ritchie and Martin Scorsese. How they like accentuate details, especially doing like quick cut stuff. I mean, but it's not like that at all. But it just made me think of that. There's a lot of like that. A lot of like still frames inside of other frames while they're moving.
Yes.
Splicing two things together and having like one scene being like what's it called when it's almost transparent? What's the word? Oh, whatever. Like you see two scenes over each other. A lot of that stuff. And towards the end, a lot of like chroma key green screen effects.
Oh yes.
Which were, from my understanding, they were like the first time they were used like that. Like video effects in Japanese cinema, at least according to the trivia I learned on IMDb. And so I can excuse that it's shittier than my green screen effects, but honestly, they were terrible. Like you can see the because Melody gets her fingers chopped off by the piano. The piano eats her fingers.
But the thing is, they kind of play it off by adding in more borders and colors, making it look like that's part of the magic, though.
Sure, but
so I can even more sure, but I can excuse it even more then because it looks like it's part of the magic.
I guess. It's just I gotta say towards the end, around that time. By the way, that's like the only actually scary scene when Melody gets eaten by the piano. It's actually
that's fucking weird.
Ugh. Because she's literally being eaten, and you see like arms being chopped off. And
someone's laughing consistently.
Yes.
I don't know if it's her laughing. It sounds like she's being tickled or something, but she's being eaten.
Yeah, and it's one of the few times we actually see a lot of blood in the movie.
Yes.
Except for towards the end when Kung Fu and fantasy start, and Prof, I suppose, start fighting the cat poster, which hides the ghost.
Kung Fu gets eaten by the lamp, or like dies by getting her head stuck in the lamp, and then...
Yeah, but her legs keep kicking.
Right, and they kick the painting, which makes the cat angry that starts bleeding, or spewing blood, I suppose.
Because the cat is the aunt's ghost?
Oh, see, I'm not sure. Because the aunt's body is also dead, but her spirit's still there, but you can have her spirit in Gorge's body at the same time as the cat's around, though. So is she, like, hopping between bodies?
Yeah, but also her body is there. Her body is physically, like, there and talking with them in the beginning of the movie. So is she possessing her own body?
But her body's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, her body is dead, but her spirit lives on because it lives on in the memories of the people we love, blah, blah, blah.
Sure, but shouldn't the body be decomposing by then?
I mean, it is very pale.
Sure.
I guess,
Also, she's a witch, so, I mean, I guess her body doesn't really get affected by time if there is still some sort of energy left around it, I guess.
Also, we are talking about a movie where a piano eats a lady. And a lamp eats a lady, but the legs keep living, so...
Yeah, and mattresses and bedding attack another one. And I don't remember what happens to Mac, but she...
No, she just disappears, and then her head is the watermelon that they kept in the well.
Yeah, but then it's the watermelon again.
Yeah.
And then they find her hand
because
and her
then you see Auntie eating the melon, but she has Mac's eyes in her mouth.
Was that it? I didn't realize it was Mac's eyes. I just thought it was like random eyes.
Well, I suppose they are Mac's eyes because we saw the head before.
Makes
so
sense.
maybe they're actually eating Mac's head, but it's like an illusion. So they think they're eating watermelon. That's how my mind went. Like, haha.
I thought she was just teasing fantasy that, because she is fantasy, she has a vivid imagination.
Yeah, maybe.
And she just saw things again.
I don't know. I mean, that makes me think of the scene in What We Do in the Shadows. Have you seen that movie? The mockumentary about New Zealand vampires
with Taika Waititi. What's his name?
Waititi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before Disney
yes, I have
him. Yeah.
seen. I don't know if I've seen all of it, but I've seen bits and pieces. Definitely.
There's a scene where they're like familiar. The woman who like helps them with stuff.
Yeah.
She has to bring them victims, so she brings like an ex-boyfriend and some girl she didn't like in school or whatever, and they serve them food. They serve them canned spaghetti, which they like to call paschetti. But then halfway through the meal, they're like, "How do you like your worms?" And they do, the whole vampire illusion thing.
Yeah,
so they think they're eating worms all of a sudden. I'm guessing it's something like that.
Yes.
Like the ghost is hiding in Mac's head, and like, no, it's a watermelon. Because the implication is that they're eating Mac's head, which is super weird and gross and cool for a horror movie, I don't know.
No, that totally makes sense actually. But it shouldn't make sense though, because nothing else makes sense in this movie.
You that sentence shouldn't be uttered when you're talking about this movie. Oh, that totally makes sense.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Nothing should make sense though, because nothing does.
Speaking of not making sense, remember when the logs of wood started attacking Kung Fu?
Yeah.
And her
pants disappeared?
Her pants flew off, and then the rest of the movie she's running around in panties?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And she's just casually catching them and just accepts it. No reaction to the fact that her pants flew off.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, I guess I'm hallucinating again," or something like that.
Yeah, I guess it's an illusion, which is they call it an illusion every time.
Yeah, an illusion, right? Yeah, and I'm like, what is happening? I
mean, when someone says like 3 times that something has happened and they can't really explain it, and no one else sees it, shouldn't you still go, well, something's obviously wrong with this person?
Yeah.
Maybe we should like have someone come and check her or something.
Yeah.
But no, they accept the fact that Gorgeous goes, "I'm gonna go to the police station, bye," and just leaves.
But then she just goes upstairs to put on makeup for some reason.
Well, she does leave the house though somehow, because she locks them out or in.
Oh.
But then she turns up and she's back in the house upstairs, putting on the bridal makeup because she can only wear her white bridal dress that she was supposed to wear for the wedding to her betrothed who died in the war. And she can only wear that when she's consuming young girls who are unwed.
Yeah. So it's not Gorgeous who's wearing it, it's Auntie wearing it.
Yes, but Auntie's manifesting as Gorgeous because they're related, so they look alike anyways, I suppose.
Yeah. That's also the whole backstory to why this is happening is that Auntie lived with Gorgeous's mother, her sister, and their father out in this house, the Hausu, in the 40s. And Auntie was supposed to get married with this guy, but then he was drafted into the war, the Second World War. And when the war was over, he didn't come back. Probably died.
Yeah, but Auntie had promised.
We do see him in a plane that is about to crash.
Yeah, because the pilot got shot.
Exactly. But yeah, she refuses to acknowledge that. She's like, no, he's coming back. So she just waits and waits and waits. Of course, her sister moves away to marry the father guy and has Gorgeous.
Who's listed as Daddy Kugarashi.
Daddy Kugarashi, alright, yeah.
Because Gorgeous only calls him Daddy.
Yeah,
literally saying Daddy as well. Yeah. I didn't know they did that in Japanese.
I don't. Maybe they do. I mean,
they said
I think it's
Papa as well and Mama.
Yeah, I think it's either Okawa or Otoa. Either one of those. It's mommy and daddy. I don't know which is which. Either way.
I only know the Korean ones.
Yeah. Okay. But then, yeah, their father dies as well. I guess before the war is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Auntie's left all alone, and she slowly goes insane.
And she had
dies.
promised that I'm gonna wait for him in this house until he returns to me or something.
Yeah.
Just like the curse, I suppose.
So when she dies, she's left with unfinished business, which makes you a ghost in Western tradition. So whenever, young unmarried women show up, she consumes their souls, because that's the only way she can, be, I guess, first out of jealousy.
Yes.
But then
it's also, the young
gives her
life
energy.
power thing.
And that's the only time she can wear the wedding dress she was supposed to get married in.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
And she eats all the women in the village. So she's been sitting there alone for years, waiting for someone to contact her, and Gorgeous out of the blue does.
Yeah.
The thing I don't really understand though is, how did Blanche, the cat, end up with Gorgeous? Did she did Auntie turn into the cat and go to her to contact me?
I don't. There is something like that. They mention something about Blanche being sent to Gorgeous, or something. Yeah. Blanche is the cat that shows up.
Because Gorgeous knows it's Blanche straight away. She's like, "Oh, I know this cat." No, she calls it Blanche straight away.
Yeah, but I thought she calls it Kawaii at first.
Sure. Maybe she names it Blanche. She names it Blanche. Happens to name it the same thing, because it's a white cat. Of course, she's gonna name it Blanche.
I don't know, because it's this movie. I don't know. But I guess maybe that is supposed to be a way to manipulate her to come to the house.
Maybe it made her think of her auntie, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna write her a letter."
Yeah.
Because auntie had a white cat who looked just like this.
Yeah. And of course, she's about to get a new mother, since her mother died from some illness.
8 years ago.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to... She doesn't want to, of course.
No, because it's still weird, even if it's been 8 years.
Yeah. So all of these things,
especially the way he introduces her, going "Well, I should have told you earlier, but we're having a companion to our trip, and she's your new mother." Dude, you could have done this a little bit softer and slower.
Yeah. That's I
wonder what happened to him. He just got left there, because his new wife gets burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
Or consumed, I don't know.
And but Gorgeous... are they married? They're not married.
Well, no, but they're to be married.
Yeah, exactly. So then, Auntie.
Wife to be, I suppose. And I mean, Gorgeous is Auntie now, so she's gonna stay in the house, right?
I think so.
It wouldn't make sense for her to go anywhere else. She probably can't go anywhere else.
They'll have to make a house too.
Yes.
Where Daddy Kugarashi goes and tries to find his new wife and his daughter.
Or it's just a spiritual sequel where someone just happens to find the house.
Yeah.
That would make more sense. Because we don't really care about Daddy Kugarashi.
No, of course not. He's not a character.
He died from old age.
Exactly.
Or heartbreak or something.
Yeah. Well, we should talk about, because this movie, we haven't really said. We just went straight into discussing the things in the movie.
Yes.
We haven't done the thing. What did you think of the movie?
I don't really know. Like I said, it's a movie that I'm not mad that I saw. Okay. It's definitely a movie you should watch for a discussion. It's like a movie to have film classes about. If it would have been really fun to talk about this with my class in England, where we talked about movies a lot. Mm-hmm. That would have been so fascinating, especially because we had Japanese students as well. So it would have helped, I suppose, to have an input of their view on it, because it's, like we said, it's a Japanese movie with very Western lore.
Yeah. Yes, and that is unfortunately something that we won't be able to discuss, because I don't know that much about Japanese filmmaking. I know that they have very different style from traditional Western filmmaking. I mean, I've seen a lot of Japanese movies, but I would like to because like we said, this is obviously like Western traditional horror movie filtered through Japanese cinema.
Yes.
But I would like to know more about what the process was.
Because I've only seen Japanese horror films like
more traditional Japanese horror movies. Yeah, like The Ring or The Grudge.
Yes.
Movies like that. Which are very much more about traditional
Japanese folklore.
Yeah, exactly. Especially The Grudge. Because they're all the ghosts are a thing that are they only become ghosts if they're killed
maliciously, right?
Maliciously out of great rage, so their soul is trapped. Yeah, which is very different from how souls are trapped in Western lore. Yeah, stuff like that.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it would have been an interesting movie to discuss in that kind of class where we have different nationalities. In just a Swedish class, no, that wouldn't help too much unless you have someone who's very interested in Japanese lore and filmmaking in general.
Yeah.
Because, of course, they could have put some sort of input to it, but...
Well, yeah. And, I mean, we could discuss it as far as, they have very different style. That's why this feels more silly.
Yes.
I mean, because that is the thing I know about Japanese, theater and comedy. I mean... Even before, but especially after the Second World War, their comedy in particular became very exaggerated because they were literally a nation. There was a nationwide depression.
Yes,
I mean they're the only country in the world that has been bombed, nuclear bombed, and they were bombed twice.
Yeah.
So comedy had to be super funny.
Yeah.
And that's something that has stuck. It's become traditional. And I mean, even before that, it makes sense because they had kabuki theater and everything, which was very exaggerated. So it makes sense then that their style is very exaggerated. When it comes to entertainment in general. I mean, watch a Japanese action movie. It's not like a Western action movie
or anime, like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, an anime. It's animated, but it's animated to 110%.
You can definitely tell the difference between an American cartoon and a Japanese one.
Yes.
Not only by the characters and certain characteristics, but
by the way they behave.
Behavior mostly.
But then you have
situations, I guess, as well. To be honest.
Yes. If you want to watch an anime that is basically a parody of anime, you should watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, I've heard that.
Because that's even weirder, because they're anime's weird, so we're gonna make fun of that. So it's even weirder. Either way, or I guess One Punch Man is also that kind of story. Either way. However, Hausu is even weirder. Because not only is it then a Japanese version of a classic haunted house tale, but it's also made by this weird guy who is not just weird, he's not just Japanese weird, he's weird Japanese weird.
Yeah.
So, and I tried to find, I did a very, very cursory search on the internet, but I didn't find a lot of, behind the scenes stuff or interviews or anything. I'm sure there are, but I can't do that much research. I have a job to do. But it would be interesting to know more about the process, how and why this was made, basically. And that would be an interesting discussion to have with someone who knows. Yeah.
Yes. So in that sense, I'd say it's an interesting movie, and it's a movie you should watch at least once. But I'm not gonna say it's super entertaining and I'll come back to it 500 times. No. It's interesting for the analytical aspect.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though, because it has become a cult classic.
Well, I can sort of see why.
Yeah, I can definitely see why, because cult classic means it's either, an undiscovered classic, which only a few people know of, or it's actually a bad movie that people say, no, it is good if you do this and this and this.
Yeah.
That's what cult classic means, because that's where you get a cult following. I mean, that's why movies like Troll 2 and The Room are cult classics instead of classics. Because they're bad, but people find it funny.
Yeah.
This, or it could be this and like Rocky Horror Picture Shows. They are not bad movies, but they're also not movies that a mainstream audience would appreciate.
No.
So instead they become cult classics.
Yes.
I understand.
They have a cultivated audience. Is that what it comes from? I have no idea.
No, it comes from a cult.
Oh, right.
You know, a cult.
I never knew that.
You never realized that. That's why you say they have a cult-like following.
The thing is,
people are so obsessed with it, you know.
I only read cult classic in Swedish, and in my head it just goes to culture because of how it's spelled in Swedish with a K, not a C. Cults are only in with C for me because I don't say the word cult in Swedish that often.
No, sure, but yeah, it has to do with.
Oh.
You're being in the Hausu cult because you love the movie so much.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. So now you can rewatch all the cult classics with a whole
now we
new,
change all of it.
Yeah.
Well, it does make perfect sense for Rocky Horror Show.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And which movie did we watch? We watched Double Down. That maybe not a cult classic, but Neil Breen is a cult classic guy.
He's a cult leader, I suppose.
But you understand why people would love that movie then, and the way they do it. Yeah, exactly. Or The Room, because we saw The Room, right?
No. Did we?
Didn't we watch the... Yes, we did.
Is The Room about how they...
Everybody betrayed me.
Right. The Room is the movie. I'm supposed to watch the movie about how they made the movie. Sorry.
Oh, but you have seen The Room.
No, yes, we saw that. We did a commentary track on that one.
Exactly. We did?
Yes.
No, we did an episode... I don't even remember. Hold on. I'm pretty sure it was a Patreon episode. Hold on, let me look.
I'm pretty sure it was a commentary track.
Oh, God.
Well, a reaction/commentary track because I hadn't seen it before.
Let's see. The Room. Yes, it's a commentary/reaction.
Yeah, so if you want to see that and hear it, check out the Patreon.
Check out the Patreon. Where Rebecca watches The Room on audio, not video, but audio
live,
for the first time. Yeah. And we did the same thing with Double Down. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, check that out. This could have actually been a good reaction track for both of us, but no, because you need to focus on the movie.
It works when you can understand it. It doesn't work when you can't understand the language.
That's true.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I almost said when I started watching this version, I was like, maybe I want this dub. But I was like, no, I hate dub movies.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't dub.
It's blasphemous almost.
Yes, you shouldn't dub. The only movies that should be dubbed are kids' movies
and that's only for the kids.
Exactly, little kids can't read, so they should have a dubbed movie.
But if the movie's made for kids like 8 or older, it shouldn't be dubbed. They can read subtitles.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of weird that we didn't have, like, Disney movies or animated movies in general with original voice until, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago.
Well, we had, actually. Because we had a bunch of videos in English.
Yeah, but that was because our mom or dad got those tapes from someone.
Yeah.
They weren't Swedish releases. They were English releases.
Oh, that's true.
Why. But, I mean, in cinema, like, when we were kids, you couldn't go see fucking... I don't know, Toy Story in English. You couldn't. It was only shown in Swedish dub.
I'm trying to think, like, when was the first movie I saw with English? It wasn't a cartoon, though. The first one I remember is, like, Herbie Unloaded. Which isn't a cartoon. It's sort of a kid's movie, but it's not a cartoon.
It's a kid's movie. But I think that's a little bit different because it was not an animated movie.
Yeah.
I can remember...
Did I see Toy Story 2 in theaters? When did that come out?
2000, so you were like 6. I saw it, but it was in Swedish.
I know Toy Story 3 came out
in
2010. And that was in English.
I saw that in English, yes.
That was available in English.
Yes. And I don't remember when it came out, but Tangled was available
in English.
In English, but I saw it in Swedish for some reason. I know the reason, but whatever. So yeah, okay, maybe 15 years.
2010 as well.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So 13 years.
Yeah.
Maybe some rare occasions before that, but in general, yeah, 10, 12, 13 years.
The weird thing is that I always remembered watching them. Whenever I watched them at home, I remember watching everything in English. And as soon as we had DVDs, I watched them in
Because on DVDs,
English.
you could choose the original language, yeah.
Why did I choose English?
I don't know.
Didn't like dubbing? I don't know. It's weird.
There are, though, cases where now we're just completely removed ourselves from that.
Sorry.
Sorry, I gotta, because, and we've talked about that on another commentary track, when we did, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which we, for the discussion slash commentary?
Yeah, that was
we
a
did
commentary.
That, yeah. We
saw it in English for the first time.
Saw it in English for the first time. Well, second time for me. But we discussed the fact that, and I know this is blasphemy, I suppose, but I think that the Swedish voice actor for Batman, called Fredrik Dolk, does a better performance than Kevin Conroy as Batman, at least in that movie. The TV show, it varies, but in that movie, he's better. I'm sorry.
But that's an objective opinion still, because we are Swedish.
Subjective.
Subjective.
Yes, of course.
So
but since
obviously, we're
but I mean, if you know both languages perfectly, which I do,
sure.
No brag. I just, whatever.
No. I got a degree in English. I know English.
Yeah. For me, it's not that I saw it. No, it is partially because I first saw it in Swedish.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And I always watched the show in Swedish.
Swedish, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though we're partial because of that, but we can still appreciate the English version. But we will, in certain cases, still be partial towards the Swedish dub because we grew up with it. But that's why I'm saying, like, Disney movies and Pixar movies that we purposely chose to watch in English mostly, I prefer in English. Like, I've never seen Finding Nemo in Swedish because I found that weird.
Yeah.
I saw, like, Lilo and Stitch in Swedish a couple of times, but I prefer it in English.
Yeah, a lot of those movies, like the mid-2000s,
Iron Giant wasn't too weird to watch in English, but I think I might
better.
prefer that.
I prefer that in English.
I don't know if I prefer it, but I still appreciate the Swedish version because that's the one I grew up with.
Yeah, definitely.
So, there's a conundrum here, but in general, dubbing is blasphemous.
Yeah. The original discussion, dubbing is bad. If you can watch something in original language with subtitles, you should.
Yes. I know it takes a little... We've said it before, I think, actually, in other episodes where we talked about, probably a Japanese movie. Probably Godzilla. That you shouldn't be lazy. Just read the subtitles. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to focus a little bit extra, but it's fine. You can still appreciate the movie.
Yeah, and you will, in the end, appreciate it more, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's the actual voices of the actual actors. It matches better than the voiceover. It just does. Yeah.
The thing with Japanese movies that I specifically realized in this one is they seem to have, like, after-recorded certain things, and you can tell because their mouths aren't moving, but there is noises coming from them. Well,
that's just a general thing, because it's called ADR. They do it in every movie. It's just that it's more obvious in older movies.
Yeah.
Because the technology wasn't as refined. But that's
I guess I'm thinking of, like, anime series as well, where you can, like, the character makes an noise or say something that's just short, but they didn't animate the movie, the mouth, because they were too lazy.
Yeah, usually,
yeah, something like that. Nani? The mouth doesn't move.
Yeah. Demo. Yeah. Yes, there was a lot of
ADR.
dubbing or ADR in this. Yeah, definitely. Which makes sense because some of the stuff feels like it should be dubbed because it makes it more dreamlike almost.
That too, and also I'm guessing recording sound in that kind of setting when like half of the things are flying around must be so difficult.
Yeah.
Towards the end when Kung Fu gets eaten by the lamp and like everything's just flying around. There's there's umbrellas and doors and I don't know what, just flying in the air.
I love the fact that you have mentioned it twice, and I've mentioned it 2 or 3 times at this point, but none of us have acknowledged the weirdness of saying Kung Fu was eaten by the lamp.
we have, sort of, but I mean, I don't know. It's the best part, though. Kung Fu is the best character.
Yeah, I like Kung Fu.
I love her.
Yeah, I like Kung Fu.
The fact that she's so, like, yes, I am Kung Fu. That's it. That's all I am.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorites were Kung Fu and Prof.
Yeah, because they were definitely their characters, and they had things to do as well.
Yeah.
Sweet is just...
Yeah.
I don't know, she was just kind, I suppose?
Yeah, Sweet was the most, like, whatever. All of them are sweet, if you want to know.
Or just, because she's pretty, but is that all she is? That's just rude.
Yeah.
Fantasy,
and
sure.
Fantasy, she fantasizes?
Yeah, she has a vivid imagination, I suppose.
Yeah.
Kind of weird as well.
And then Melody... Mac
disappears.
She keeps eating... Yeah, but she disappears first.
Yeah.
Melody doesn't
is
really...
musically inclined.
Yeah, but she doesn't really do anything with it until the scene where her fingers get eaten by the piano.
She plays the piano twice, that's about it. And she
that's
holds
true.
the guitar the first time we see her.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Kung Fu and Prof are the ones that their names makes the most sense because
yes,
they're that's their like main
whole
skills.
personality.
Yeah.
I do like in any media where they name their characters after their main personality or skill.
Then you're gonna love Uwe Boll's In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale, because the main character is named Farmer.
Oh,
because he's a farmer.
Maybe not that on the nose all the time, but like when you have a name and you're like, oh, but it means warrior, and he is a warrior.
Yeah. Or, the protagonist is the protagonist in Tenet.
Yes.
Literally, his name is the protagonist.
But they never say his name.
No, they don't say it, but he's credited as the protagonist.
So it's fine.
Or protagonist. Yeah. I love that aspect about Tenet, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That the main character is literally called protagonist.
Because that's all he is.
That's all he is. Because it's a super simple tale of good versus evil.
Yeah.
Time travel, yeah. But it's really only about good versus evil. Protagonist, antagonist. And we even have the hero character, which is Pattinson. Yeah. Either way, sorry. I think
we're rounding this off. I have to say one more thing. The the audio mixing in Hausu was atrocious at times.
Yeah?
Because, Jesus Christ, that music was too loud.
I guess.
Towards the end, where you can't hear them talking at all. They are talking, but you can't hear it.
Yeah, but it's such a cacophony of sound effects, music, them screaming.
Yes.
Yeah. It peaks and you can't hear anything.
Exactly.
But I gotta say, I really loved the main theme of the soundtrack, though.
Oh,
the
it
piano
reminded
piece.
me of something, but I really enjoyed it.
That was,
I
know what it was?
kept adding, like, notes to when they ended it, because I had, like, other notes that I wanted to follow.
Yeah.
But I can't think of why.
Yeah. But you know what? It was very haunting. So very fitting for the plot. Yeah. Great, just a simple little ding ding dee doo melody on the piano. Now I can't remember how it goes though, but I loved it in the movie, which I watched.
If you hear it, you're going to recognize
before we
it.
started this. Yeah, exactly.
And I was impressed by the beginning for it being a movie from the 70s, but then it got too weird. Like the camera work and everything, it just looked. Is it really the 70s? But sure. And then it's the 70s.
Yeah.
When he got all trippy and shit.
Yeah. Hey, best movies are made in the 70s.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's almost always true. There are good movies from other decades, but
yes,
all the best movies are from the 70s. Either way, and I never told you about it. I liked the movie.
Yes.
But I don't think I'm going to watch it again unless it's like with a group of people.
Or specifically with our very lovely patron, Danny, to discuss it.
Yes. Because I also have to admit, towards the middle, or like towards the end when I messaged you, I was kind of over it. I was like, it's just dragging on. And it's not a long movie. It's sub 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's an hour 30 barely.
Hour 27. That's with credits.
True.
But it was just, because it's a lot of them in the middle of the movie drags. It's just them running around and it's jump scare.
Yeah.
Quote unquote jump scare. It's not ever scary. Like I said, except for the piano eating melody.
No, there's one thing that is actually a bit scary, but it's also very funny. It's when everyone's gone and they just go, huge lips, and a huge mouth just comes out of nothing and starts talking.
Yeah, when Gorgeous's face just comes out of the wall, and it's huge.
But then the second time it's just lips,
it's just
and
lips.
they just go, huge lips. It's a lot of fun, this movie, though.
Yes.
For all the weirdness, it's fun, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And there was a lot of
too weird
while I was watching it.
Yes.
And that's always a good
But yes,
sign.
I did need, like, a break.
Yeah.
It's just after an hour or something, which timed perfectly for me.
Exactly.
And then watching the last barely 30 minutes was like, this is nice and concise. What's it called?
Concise.
Yes, concise.
Yeah. So if you wanna, if you're a fan of weird movies, check out Hausu. If you're a fan of Japanese cinema, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you like something a little more structured, more making sense, stay away from this. This is not
but maybe
for you.
Maybe you should broaden your horizon.
Sure.
And try something new. Watch it.
Yeah, but don't start with this.
No, maybe not.
This is not like dipping your toes in. This is doing the fucking cannonball in the deep end.
This is head first. Literally.
Yeah. It's I'm dead serious. They were eating Mac's head when they were eating.
I was thinking more of Prof diving head first into the blood water and then just melting into light and disappearing.
That's the last thing we should discuss. I know it's the 70s and it's Japanese and everything, but there was a lot of teenage nudity in this. And I looked it up. They are all like 17 and younger. Oh. Which is like, it was like...
But only 3 of them actually showed anything. Hopefully those 3 were at least 17 then.
And it was all like tasteful at first, but then it's just like, boobs, okay.
Yeah, Prof was naked.
Yeah, fully. So that was like, but
I felt a bit uncomfortable.
It's the 70s. People were more lax when it came to shit like that back then.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a little weird because
I just imagined in my head they're 18 or older, they're 18 or older, they're 18 or older. I didn't look it up. I was like, they're 18 or older.
Yeah, I had to look it up afterwards. I was like, "This is okay." Like, they're all born in 1960. Oh, they're 17. Oh. Anyway,
shit. Yeah. Well,
anything on a bad note.
Apart from that, it's a fine movie. It's a fun movie.
It is, yeah. Other than that, it is fun. But yeah, that's gonna have to be it.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, of course. But I was gonna ask you, Rebecca, what should we do as a companion piece of this?
Oh, I have no clue.
I mean, I know another super weird kind of cult classic Japanese movie from the 2000s called Happiness of the Katakuris. We could check that out.
Talked about that.
We've talked about it, yeah. Or we could actually do it's not a remake of this, but there is a Western like horror comedy called House that came out in the 80s. Oh. That I've never seen it. I just know of it.
So if you want to know which we end up doing, check out the Patreon.
Patreon.com/Don't Make a Scene. Just $3 a month, and you get literally hundreds of hours of exclusive stuff.
Yes.
So check it out. But other than that, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in the next episode when we'll talk about something new, I suppose.
Yes,
I don't know.
We have something on the list.
Yeah. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.
The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias and Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén and Laura Kinney. I also want to give a huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/Don't Make a Scene. Mom, Dad, Laura Kinney, Danny Del Gaiso, and Mac and Mom.